Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of February 19th to the 25th of 2024. Alright, so this week we have a full moon on Saturday in Sidereal Leo. So as we approach the weekend, we are likely going to be noticing some of that momentum building in the lunar month. And then when we do get to the weekend, it is the heightened energy of the month. And in this case, perhaps getting some new perspectives and making some shifts and changes along the life journey in order to incorporate what will be more expressive Leo qualities. We'll probably notice that Leo late Thursday and for the whole rest of the weekend there. In terms of the aspects, we do have a very important one here. We have Venus, the feminine archetype, conjunct Mars, the masculine archetype. They're going to conjoin on Thursday, meaning they're next to each other in the sky. And this is quite significant as it is the importance of bringing balance to that yin and yang side of ourselves, and especially when it comes to our interpersonal relationships, which is often how these planets unfold. So how can we be receptive with Venus and tactful, but at the same time assertive and direct with Mars? And again, combining these can be a great way of working with this energy this week. And then the week does end with Venus squaring Jupiter. So over around the Sunday time period, maybe noticing that there can be some things to be enjoyed regarding expanding our horizons a little bit, enjoying a bit of that free-spiritedness, philosophical, maybe some adventurous stuff as well, could be quite good. All right, so let's go and take a look at all this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here's the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, February 19th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. For example, I did just say that the full moon will be in Leo, but perhaps you were expecting it to be in Virgo. So if you are new to this channel or you are new to True Sidereal, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so let's go ahead and do a bit of a recap here in terms of where everything is coming into this week. As you can see, the aspects are quite straightforward. We have Venus and Mars conjunct. We're going to have that full moon around Saturday, and then Venus squaring up to Jupiter there. So everything coming into the week here is very well placed in Capricorn for the fast movers. So Venus and Mars have recently just entered into here. The sun has recently left last week, but Mercury's finishing here as well. So Capricorn, the sea goat, is all about taking that one step at a time for the long-term view. It's the constellation that deals with patience, perseverance, discipline, and responsibilities. And so it's been really good to cultivate this, especially because we did start the lunar month here. And of course, we still have these fast movers here as well. Venus and Mars is how we're connecting in those relationships. Again, good to do it in that more perhaps mature, responsible, healthfully detached sort of way with Capricorn, and perhaps even communicating this way with Mercury as well. The sun is in Aquarius though, so when it does come to our main focus at this time, it is great to be getting in touch with that visionary side and progressive side. So Aquarius is all about foreseeing into the future and accessing more of that sort of vision. And so anything that is for our own aspirations, our own visions, but also for the collective as well. Aquarius, being an air sign, is always really good to be really being a part of something greater than ourselves as well, even if it's just connecting to friends or community or the world in the future at large. In that way, really good to be focusing on that visionary side of ourselves. So definitely this combination here of earth and air here. And Mercury will start to shift into getting closer into Aquarius here around the Wednesday time period, adding to that Aquarius mix. But we can really just say for the whole week, it really is the combination between this earth and air. How can we be grounded, see the long term with Capricorn, but at the same time, listen to our excitement and cultivate that visionary side and progressive side of Aquarius. All right, so in terms of the each day of the week here, we're going to have the moon in Gemini on Monday. And so this is going to be an energy for both Monday and Tuesday. Gemini, the twins, great time to be learning, being inquisitive and curious. So this can be in our own personal lives, like just doing some learning or picking up that book. It's also great for writing and anything else that's a sort of communication medium like that. But also a bit social as well. Gemini is usually a good time to be connecting with our peers or our neighbors or the marketplace, and some themes usually around communication there as well. So a good time to really just be curious and interested, whether it's personally or interpersonally. And I think that can be a great way of working with these first couple days of the week. And then as we start to get into Wednesday and for the first half of Thursday, we will have the moon in Cancer. And so here, getting in touch with our more emotional side. So whereas Gemini is more on the mental and communicative side with learning and ideas and all that, Cancer is on more of the emotional side. So good to be creating that safe and secure environment for ourselves and others here around Wednesday and early Thursday, accessing our protective side, our nurturing side, our caring side, again, for ourselves and anyone who is close to us personally, that we can express some of that energy with, and just creating that security there, I think is great. Now, in terms of the aspect here, as we do get closer to that Thursday time period, Venus will be approaching Mars, and they will conjoin exact there on Thursday, the 22nd. And so here in Capricorn, the sea goat, we've got Venus, the feminine archetype, Mars, the masculine archetype. They're both yin and yang, so the Venus is the yin, but the reason we would say Venus is feminine is because this is more about interpersonal, so it's how we connect with others, right? And Mars being more masculine is how we're connecting with others there. So this combination here is a really good time to reconnect to both polarities within ourselves, right? Because of course we all have both polarities. So how can we connect with our Venus side, which is the side that is receptive and open and wanting to do what's right and fair and be more receiving in general, and that kind of thing. And in relationships, more tactful and more about give and take, right? And other oriented usually in that sense. Whereas then it's combining that with Mars, which is more self-oriented. How can we be tactful, receptive, while at the same time be assertive, pursue our needs, do what's right for us, be independent and autonomous in the process. So that's bringing in some of that masculine Mars energy. So the balance here between the receptive and active sides of ourself, receiving and pursuing side of ourselves. You could even say the other and self-oriented energies. And it's likely to be quite easy to balance these out, as these are, of course, blending right now in the sky at the moment. But if there is any intentions you want to set, any intentional ways of working with this energy that would involve combining that yin and yang side of ourselves, then it's a great way of working with this conjunction. And we often do see, oftentimes, new things emerging here relationally, whether it's just generally how we relate with others, or sometimes specifically new people or new relationship situations can emerge out of this. So good to set intentions, because conjunctions are like new beginnings. It really starts the new cycle between these two planets in relation to each other. But of course, just being aware of the energy, working with it constructively, and perhaps setting some new intentions here in the sense for the year, a little over a year, of course, maybe a year and a half, but for this year, so to speak, in regards to how we can interact with our interpersonal environment, interpersonal relationships with others in our lives that are both yin and yang, receptive and assertive. All right, so great to do that there. Again, in Capricorn, it's all about accessing more of this responsible, disciplined, and patient side of our lives in general, but again, in the context of interpersonal, I think is great. But with Venus, seeing the value of the long-term view, and with Mars, seeing that also the value, but how we can take that long-term view in regards to our needs. So being patient as well with our own needs and desires, and with Venus, our values here in Capricorn. All right, so that's definitely the most important aspect of the week here, and we'll be noticing it increasing as we get to the apex of it, which will be on Thursday. and then starting to apply it and implement it as we separate from that conjunction. And then we do get to the full moon, which will be on Saturday. So at this point, the moon will shift into Leo. So late Thursday, and then for the whole weekend, we will have the moon in expressive Leo, which of course will have the full moon on Saturday. So Leo the lion is all about connecting to our hearts, you could say, which is about connecting to the things and people that we love in life and expressing ourselves. So great time for personally, maybe creative energy, doing what we love, hobbies, interests, our passions, creating, expressing, things like this. But of course, interpersonally as well, great time for having fun, cultivating a bit of that playful energy, some of that creative energy, and to connect to a bit of that, pride in terms of what we're proud of in life, but also connecting to others in a way that, we're proud of them, we're proud to be with them. Connecting to those we love, I think, is great with Leo as well. So expressing that out, expressing that love, expressing that creative energy, expressing ourselves just fundamentally, I think is a great way of working with this weekend. And again, that will be what the full moon's all about. So full moons are the heightened energy of the lunar month, doing this status check on the month, and really you could say the year in regards to this expressive Leo energy, because 6 months ago we had the new moon here. And doing a status check and saying, okay, how is that expressive sign? And how can we perhaps make some shifts and changes to further cultivate it, especially for the next 2 weeks here as we finish this lunar month. It's worth noting that this full moon will be opposite up to both Saturn and Mercury. Mercury is usually part of lunar cycles, but Saturn is the exception here. So Saturn's been really helping us take that long-term view in regards to our, again, visions for the future in Aquarius. And so anything that maybe did start about 6 months ago that you have been working on, maybe it's been taking some time, you've had to have some patience with, this could be a nice step in the right direction, maybe making shifts and changes there. But all in all, it's the reminder that while we can be expressing ourselves and doing what we love, there is, of course, that element of responsibility, not only opposite Saturn, but with all these planets in Capricorn, as we discussed earlier, balancing fun, playfulness, creative energy with responsibility, maturity, and long-term goals is a great way of working with, I think, particularly this full moon. And it will be trining up to Jupiter, which is nice to see, maybe supporting a bit of that fire and, again, expressive kind of energy there, which is great. All right, and then again, the whole weekend we'll have that expressive Leo energy. And then lastly, with the aspects, we have Venus squaring Jupiter. So Venus, again, more of the receptive, or we could say our values of life, in a square to that expansive Jupiter. So squares do tend towards over and under extremes. I think it's a good weekend to just be a bit conscious of any potentials for over or under indulgences, over and under optimisms, but nonetheless, enjoying this stuff constructively. So being open-minded, being a bit free-spirited, and seeing opportunities and things to enjoy in life, but with mindfulness, with a constructive energy, can just help keep that all nice and balanced so that it doesn't go to as extreme of extremes. All right, so that is the weekend in a nutshell. Most important thing is we're approaching that full moon, which will be on Saturday, the heightened energy of the lunar month. We're building momentum. Full moon is the status check, sometimes a harvest as well, but we tend to make some pivots or some shifts and changes for the lunar month. It's all about expressive Leo there, cultivating more of that connection to our hearts, you could say. As we approach that, we've got Venus and Mars conjunct for pretty much the whole week here. The feminine archetype, the masculine archetype, incorporating these within ourselves, but of course externally as well. How can we be receptive and active in our lives, and perhaps noticing some new beginnings that are emerging out of our values and perhaps our interpersonal lives as well. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube and extra content not normally released on YouTube. So if you are new, definitely sign up for that down below. But again, have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.